Well, to find out what's keeping Japanese fathers from taking those days off, I'm joined now from Boston by Mary Brinton. She's a professor of sociology at Harvard University. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's start with a closer look at why a country with the most paid paternity leave in the world has such few fathers willing to take advantage of it. What's happening there?
Yeah, well, there are several reasons that this phenomenon exists. Indeed, as you said, this latest report shows that internationally, Japan has by far the most generous paternity leave of all industrial and post-industrial countries. The Japanese workplace has very strong norms, work norms. As everyone knows, Japanese working hours are very long, and there's a lot of pressure for men in particular to stay in the office late at night. So one of the things that many Japanese men say is maybe they would consider or like to take paternity leave, but they're afraid that it will cause a burden of more work for their colleagues, which would foster resentment against them when they return from paternity leave. So there are expressions in Japanese for this, causing trouble for others.
Right.
As you said, the measures now guarantee 100% pay for the first 6 months, which is fabulous, absolutely fabulous compared to most European countries as well. So the government is trying very hard to lessen couples' concern that, a reduction in the new father's pay is going to harm the household. So that barrier has been removed.
Now, Mary, I do want to get to this issue of so-called patahara, or paternity harassment,
Yes.
and that includes lawsuits against companies Asics and Mitsubishi, where workers face retribution or demotions after using that paternity leave that their companies provided. What are the chances of success in a lawsuit like that?
That's a very good question, because these are very recent lawsuits. There was a case in June of a new father who took, I believe, 2 weeks of leave and returned to his company. This is a major chemical company, and was immediately asked by his boss to move to another part of the country. And this male employee, requested that he be able to speak with his wife about it, and the boss said, no, you can't. You either take it or leave it, and promotions are out of the question. So he left the company, and this caused a big stir in the Japanese media and among the Japanese public. Both sides of the opinion are there. Men shouldn't do this.
Right.
Or men should be able to do this. So
it's interesting because paternity leave really is an important part of supporting the mothers, which really fits into Japan's push to really encourage more families to have more children to offset
Absolutely.
the labor shortage. So what sort of recourse is there then when companies don't adhere to these rules?
Well, I'm going to give you my personal opinion, which is that paternity leave should be required of new fathers. And in my opinion, it doesn't necessarily have to be a long leave, but there are very strong, effects within the workplace from your peers in Japan, as in other countries, but very strong in Japan. And so my feeling is if new fathers were required to take even 2 weeks leave, then they wouldn't get penalized for taking it because everyone takes it. And I think this is one of the ways that you can change a social norm.
And so culturally, essentially, some fathers are being asked to choose between taking the paternity leave and essentially ruining their chances in their career. What sort of effect is that going to have? And do you see that changing the corporate world, given the long-term economic downfall that comes with having less people in the workforce?
Well, you make a very good point, because indeed, largely, the Japanese government's impetus to have men take leave is so that they can help their wives with the new burden of childcare, get more involved in family life, become hopefully more involved fathers, and therefore the good effect could be, over the long term, that more married women come back to work full-time because they've got a partner that is more involved in the family. Now, again, the long work hour norms are making it really hard for Japanese men, even those who want to take paternity leave, to take it. But that's why I think there needs to be, in this case, a requirement, a really hard push.
Mary Brinton there, Professor of Sociology at Harvard University. Thank you.